Hi, today I'm going to teach you how to make a Christmas basket. And instead of the normal clothesline that I usually use, we're going to use paraCORD. And that is a package like this that I get at Harbor Freight. It says ideal for camping, hiking, and outdoor activities, but it can be made to make bowls as well. This is 1/8 inch plus 50 feet, and you're going to need 2 of these in order to do this project. We're going to use one to start out with, and then switch to, we're going to add the green border, red, green, and in the middle somewhere, because this will be covered with fabric, whereas the rest of the paraCORD is not covered with fabric. We want to make the switch to the second roll of this while this is being covered with fabric, and then add a few more rows at the end to finish it off. I have this one, which is about 10 inches across. Then I have a smaller one that I have made, and I'm going to make one today that is similar to this, but I want to make it more shallow, okay? And so what we need for this is, I've told you about the paraCORD, and then what we need is a fabric that has distinct little poinsettias, or you could use any other kind of flower. In fact, I have a basket that I will show you that is also black, but it's black and pink with a different kind of flower. But you want to have the fabric where the poinsettias are somewhat distinct from each other, not just all crowded together. Now, if you have lots of this fabric, you can also use this for the red part right here. But I prefer to save this for the bottom section, and so I just use regular red fabric that I have cut into strips. And then I have some green fabric as well that I have already cut into strips. Now this time, I am going to turn over the edge of the fabric as I wrap it. And the reason for that is because this one, the front and the back, there's just a very distinct white and red, okay? When I use batik fabrics, I never cut it, I never fold it over. But with these 2 fabrics, I think I'm going to do that. And because of that, I have cut the strips on the bias 1 1/8 inch. Okay, and I will show you how to do that as we go along. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is pull out this inner fibers and cut that off. All right, and then I'm going to fold this, curl it up, and make a coil. Normally, I use a size 16 needle when I work on baskets, but this paraCORD is much skinnier and lighter, and so I'm going to use my regular sewing machine, I think, or a sewing needle. I think it's about a size 16 or a size 14, 12, something like that. Let's wrap it around a little more and go at it again. It takes a little maneuvering to get started here. Okay, now as I sew, I'm going to make this figure 9 right here, but I want to back it up so that I can go back and get it more securely sewn in place. How big you want this bottom coil to be is entirely up to you. For this one, I used a diameter of about 4.5 inches. And so I'm thinking maybe 4 inches, 4.5 inches, somewhere around that. All right, I have a diameter of a little over 4 inches, and I think that will be great for us to stop and then put in the bottom picture panel, whatever you want to call it. So let me reposition and we'll do that bottom part. I have a piece of interfacing right here. It's fusible on one side, and I'm going to lay my coil on top of it and draw a circle around it. And then I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut just on the inside of that line. I have my iron turned on, no steam, and so we will adhere this to the back of one of these poinsettias. So I'm going to look for a poinsettia. Right here's one that is far enough from the edges. See, this is too close to the edge. That one would work. Maybe I'll use this one because that one has another one next to it. So I think I'll use this one, and I'm going to iron this piece right on top. And now I'm going to cut it around it, but I'm going to cut, a generous 1/4 inch. I like to give myself room for error. And now I will reposition again back to the sewing machine. Now this fits quite nicely on top of that, but we need to adhere it somehow, and the easiest way I have found is just to spread some tacky glue and brush it around. And then I'm going to put this back on. Now, depending on what you're doing, you have to be careful of where this is as far as the position, but with a poinsettia like this, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and now I'm going to trim around the edges 1/8 of an inch. And I know that does not seem like much, but you don't want much. Now I have my sewing machine set at I just goofed because I want this cord to come out on the right side. So let me think. Now I'm ready with the poinsettia on the top, the cord coming out of the right. I've cut a small slit there, and I'm going to start zigzagging. I have set my zigzag as 5mm width and 1.5mm length. As you go, you lay this on top, push it down. Just go for a little ways at a time. Push it down. I'm almost around to the beginning. Now this is where I started, and I'm going to put a pin here to show that this is my reference point. That means any transition in the bowl needs to come at that point. So I'm going to, at this point also, tilt this just a little bit. One thing I have found in working with paraCORD is that there tends to be little gaps along the way because it's narrower and it's harder to keep it pushed up against the former row. So what I have learned is to take a crochet hook and just put it alongside here, and that will help me push it right up tight against the previous row so that I don't have gaps in the construction. I know you're probably worried that you're going to run into that crochet hook, and it has happened a few times, but it just glances right off of it. Now I'm going to continue basically for the duration of the amount of paraCORD that I have available. I started with a partially used package, and so it will be smaller than the other one I've shown you. And I'm going to keep this at about a 30-degree angle. When I did this one right here, I think I had it more like 45-degree angle. And so it made it a deeper bowl, and I want it shallower, so I'm going to keep it about a 30-degree angle. I have come closer to the end of my rope, and I think I'm far enough along here, so I think I'm going to stop here and begin wrapping the green fabric. You could just do red fabric and skip the green, but I kind of like the effect of having green and then a broader strip of red and so on. Okay, so now here's my reference point. I'm going to start with this green fabric. I'm going to lay it flat to begin with. Put a little glue there. And then, see if I can show you. Then I'm going to fold this part way over and start wrapping. Fold and wrap. Fold and wrap. I'm going to continue around until I have enough to make one circle. I have come to the end of my green strip, but I don't have enough to make one full round, and so I'm going to show you what to do now. I'm going to put a piece of glue or a bit of glue there, and then I'm going to take my next strip. However, if you do this right away and start wrapping, it makes for quite a lump there. So I just start out flat and then turn it and keep going. That way you don't have such a fat bump there when you go to sew it. I have finished with the green, red, green, and a little black along the top. And now I want to finish it off here. This place is not very pretty, so we're going to try to wrap some of this rope around and finish it with a covered button so that it looks a little more decent. So here you have it. It looks a great deal like the first one, except I finished it off and it's a little smaller. Plus the fabric that I used in the center is a bit different. And it's a lot like this one, but it's shallower. And I kind of like that. So I have one here that I told you about that's black and pink, and I actually did not use a different kind of trim. I just took the black and then on this same fabric and put it in strips and wrapped the last part of it with that. I have also in the past used this fabric and made one with poppies. That was a lot of fun. So try it out, see what you think, and have fun with it, okay? Bye-bye.